Hey, let's talk about Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, also known as ChatGPT. It surpassed 1 million users in the first week of its launch in November 2022 and got 100 million plus users in the first 6 months. Over 60% of ChatGPT's external traffic comes from YouTube videos in the form of videos like this. Imagine having a personal assistant that's always ready to help, always learning, and never tires. Meet ChatGPT, the revolutionary AI tool that's transforming the way we interact with technology. So the question is, are you ready to step into the future and become the master of this groundbreaking technology? There are few ChatGPT tutorials out there, but I want this to be the most up-to-date and comprehensive out of all of them. I'll make a daring assumption that you have not used ChatGPT yet, and will spend the first few minutes quickly talking about the ChatGPT interface. Then, without wasting any time, I will quickly get into how to ask ChatGPT anything you want. There is a term thrown out there in the market called prompt engineering, which is basically all about how you can build or design the prompt, the question that you will ask ChatGPT. Let's do it. So if you're starting this for the first time, this is kind of how you're going to see the ChatGPT interface. You have two choices at the top. So GPT 3.5, which is an older model of ChatGPT. And then there's GPT-4. You can also see it in the URL. Model equals to ChatGPT-4. Model equals to Text DaVinci, which was the older GPT 3.5 model. All right, on the left side, there's this dark pan that you'll see, and you'll see all the historical chats that you have ever made. You can also easily close this pan if you want the entire space. Again, you can zoom in, zoom out normally like anything else on Chrome. So if you go into the settings pan, you can again clear conversations, entire conversations. My plan shows that I have chosen to pay OpenAI $20 per month, which gives faster responses, some priority access to new features, but I would highly suggest you using ChatGPT for free for the first couple of weeks. And if you see that you really need this, you can pay them $20 per month. Right, moving on, there is nothing fancy in the settings. If you go to the settings, you can convert this into a dark mode or light mode or whatever. You can easily clear your chats from here as well. Some beta features. So this is an area which you'll only see if you are a paid ChatGPT user. This is where plugins are and others. These are some advanced features. You don't really need them to start off. And then data controls. If you really want your data not to be shared with OpenAI, you can make these settings here. And also you can delete your account if you want. Right, moving on, I would highly recommend using ChatGPT-4, which is the latest and greatest ChatGPT. It'll start giving you answers of whatever question you ask for. So on a lighter note, let's start with something funny. So you can ask it to tell you a joke. All right, so you got something, and then you can literally converse it. So you can say, that's not funny, and then it will try to improve itself, and it also remembers things that you have said earlier in the conversation. For example, here I said, tell me a joke, and then I said, that's not funny. It kind of understand that I'm actually referring to the joke that was told in the last prompt. You can also ask ChatGPT to regenerate the response if you don't like it, and you can probably do it as many times as you like. Another thing that ChatGPT loves for you to do is give it a response if it was better than the last one or if it was worse. You can also like or dislike a particular command. This also helps ChatGPT understand and helps them improve their models over time. You can also provide additional feedback. All right, cool. That's about it. Let's go back to the video now. So one of the most crucial aspects of working with ChatGPT is treating it like a real-life conversation partner rather than a conventional program like Google. What do I mean by that? Let's take an example. What are some tips for reducing stress? Versus, I have been overwhelmed at work lately, so it's providing some context, and I'm looking for some practical stress relief techniques that I can incorporate into my daily routine. Can you suggest a few strategies? The first prompt is likely to generate generic stress relief tips, whereas the second prompt provides context about the user's work-related stress, allowing ChatGPT to tailor its response with more personalized and actionable advice. Let's take another example. You could ask, how do I start a garden? Versus, I'm a beginner at garden with a small backyard in a temperate climate, and I'd like to grow some vegetables and flowers. Can you guide me through the process of starting and maintaining a garden? So the very first thing, I'm calling it point zero, is to set the stage with some context. So the more ChatGPT knows what you're all about, the better it will be in giving you what you need. Providing context and background information within your prompts helps ChatGPT better understand your query and delivers more targeted responses. So let's compare another example. Tell me about renewable energy sources versus, as a homeowner, I'm considering switching to renewable energy sources to reduce my carbon footprint and save on utility cost. Can you provide an overview of various renewable energy options along with their pros and cons? So the first prompt would result in a broad overview of renewable energy, Whereas the second prompt specifies the user's intention as a homeowner, prompting ChatGPT to provide more practical and decision-relevant information. Let's take another example. How can I improve my writing skills? Versus, as an inspiring fiction writer, I want to enhance my storytelling abilities and create more engaging characters. Can you suggest some techniques or exercises to help me develop my writing skills? The second prompt clearly communicates the user's specific focus on fiction writing, allowing ChatGPT to offer targeted advice for improving storytelling and character development. Alright, let's get to the next important point. Give ChatGPT an identity as an expert in the field. You'll try different masks on ChatGPT and you'll get different reactions. So encouraging ChatGPT to assume a specific identity or a professional role can yield fresh insights and unique viewpoints on a topic. For example, explain the benefit of a smart thermostat versus as an energy efficiency expert. So we are making it an expert in the field. Can you discuss the benefits of installing a smart thermostat in a residential setting and how it can help homeowners save on energy costs? The first prompt is likely to generate a standard response about smart thermostats, while the second prompt requests insights from an energy efficiency expert, which can result in a more detailed and authoritative answer. So think of a common life, right? Whenever you want to do something in life, for example, buying a house, you would not just ask a random person about buying a house. You would go to a real estate expert to take their suggestion. It's the same story here. Let's take another example. So what are the challenges of remote work? Versus, as an HR manager, can you outline the key challenges faced by employees and organizations when transitioning to remote work and offer some strategies to overcome these challenges? So the bottom line here is, by asking ChatGPT to assume the role of an HR manager, the second prompt encourages a more comprehensive response that considers both employees and organizational perspectives, along with some actionable solutions. Let's take another example. So another example could be asking it to act like an interviewer. So you can literally ask, hey, take a behavioral interview. Like, can you suggest 10 questions of a behavioral interview? Versus, you can be very specific about your ask and say, you are an expert at taking behavioral interviews and assume you have taken 100 plus interviews at Google. Now, can you ask me 10 questions in the form of a behavioral interview, focusing on communication, stakeholder management, and risk management? So the key to remember here is ChatGPT can write from the point of view of different people or professionals, offering unique perspectives. So next point I want to make here is you got to define your objective as specifically as possible. So be specific with the format or structure you want the answer in. Don't be too vague. Get to the point right away. So clearly specifying the format or structure for ChatGPT responses can help you obtain information in a more organized and digestible manner. Let's take a few examples. So what are some healthy breakfast options? Versus, can you provide a list of 5 healthy and easy to prepare breakfast options that are high in protein and low in sugar? Again, the first prompt may lead to a general discussion of healthy breakfast food, while the second prompt asks for a specific number of options and set a clear nutritional criteria, resulting in a more focused and actionable response. Let's take another example. How can I improve my public speaking skills? Versus, can you outline a step-by-step plan to help me enhance my public speaking skills over the next 3 months, including practice exercises and resources? Again, the second prompt not only seeks advice on improving public speaking skills, but also requests a structured plan with a specific time frame, enabling ChatGPT to provide a more organized and goal-oriented response. Here's another critical aspect of prompting ChatGPT. You got to use leading questions or statements to guide the AI's response. Let's take a quick example. What is the history of the internet? Versus, the internet has evolved significantly since its inception in the 1960s. Can you discuss some of the key milestones and breakthroughs that have contributed to its development? Again, the first prompt may result in a broad overview of the internet history, while the second prompt directs ChatGPT to focus on major milestones and breakthroughs, offering a more engaging and informative response. Let's take another example. What are the benefits of exercise? Versus, many people find that regular exercise improves their overall well-being. Can you elaborate on the physical, mental, and emotional benefits of engaging in a consistent fitness routine? Again, as you can see, the second prompt sets the stage by acknowledging the positive impact of exercise on well-being, prompting ChatGPT to delve into a more comprehensive discussion of the physical, mental, and emotional benefits of consistent exercise. So by incorporating these techniques into your prompt crafting, you can enhance the effectiveness and relevance of ChatGPT's responses, making it an invaluable resource for a wide range of tasks and inquiries. Another very important technique that you can use is combining questions for more comprehensive answers. So as they call it, mix it to fix it. Don't be afraid to push the limits beyond simple questions. Combining related questions in a single prompt can help you obtain a more comprehensive and detailed answer that covers multiple aspects of a topic. Let's take a few examples. You can ask what is global warming versus what is global warming, what are its primary causes, and what are some potential consequences for our planet. So the first prompt may yield a basic definition of global warming, while the second prompt requests information on causes and consequences as well, leading to a more in-depth response that covers multiple facets of the issue. Another example could be how does meditation work versus how does meditation work, what are some of its benefits, and can you recommend a few beginner-friendly techniques. The second prompt not only asks for an explanation of how meditation works, but also inquiries about its benefits and techniques, encouraging ChatGPT to provide a more holistic and actionable response. The idea here is to combine related questions in a single prompt to obtain more comprehensive and detailed answers, multiple aspects of a topic, and increasing the depth of the response. The last and probably one of the most critical aspects of prompting is refining. So improving the answer by providing a few more details. For example, at the end of the prompt, you can add things like explain like I'm 5, compile it into actionable lists, summarize this into a tweet, write this in perspective of X, Y, and Z. Make this more formal, informal. Add some humor to it or sarcasm to it. Also, like format this as a table, a bullet list. So before we get into the top secret use cases of ChatGPT, let's summarize what we have learned up to this point. So when you are prompting this massive large language model, you need to do a few things. You need to provide some context. You need to make an expert in the field. You need to be very specific in the questions that you're asking. You can combine multiple questions for a more guided response, and you can refine your question after ChatGPT has answered. So when you ask Google multiple questions, it barely remembers the last question that you asked. So every query is a fresh new question for Google. Versus with ChatGPT, it's more conversational in nature. So you can ask a question and build on top of that, and you can literally converse with this amazing, crazy machine learning model. All right, let's talk about some of the top uses of ChatGPT that people are using it for. So the first is obviously writing. People are using it to write essays, marketing ad copies, emails, text, homework, songs, even books and poems. You can also ask it to write scripts in Python or other programming languages. Another thing I am personally using ChatGPT for is to rewrite. Not just write, but rewrite. What I mean by this is when I am responding to a critical email or a critical Twitter thread or a critical LinkedIn post, I would first write a response in the way I write things. And I would literally take that piece of text, post it over to ChatGPT, and ask it to rewrite in a more polite way or a more chatty way or a more questioning way or any specific way I want it to write. That has definitely helped a crazy ton in kind of improving my writing skills and helped me understand how to better respond to different situations when I'm writing. Another amazing thing people have used ChatGPT for is recommendations. So you can ask it to recommend you products or books or movies or songs or artists. Like for example, if you're listening to a particular song from a particular artist, you can actually ask ChatGPT to recommend you similar songs or similar artists in the genre. So when you're asking for suggestions, you're technically brainstorming with ChatGPT. You can brainstorm your startup ideas, you can brainstorm ideas for birthday parties, and so much more. So another thing you can use ChatGPT for is coding. There are tons of other programs built on top of ChatGPT that are helping programmers like crazy. But if you're not a programmer, or if you barely know programming, or if you're starting, here's an example of a prompt that can create you a lot of goodness. Create a simple WordPress plugin that displays a custom welcome message to logged in users in the admin area. You can also ask it to generate Excel sheet formulas. Another amazing use case that I'm using ChatGPT for is for learning or simplifying complex topics. You can ask it to summarize a book or a chapter of a book or a particular section in a chapter of a book. That definitely accelerates my learning speed by 100x for all the complex books that you may have read in the past or may have not understood it. So the list of use cases for ChatGPT go on and on. You can use it for self-improvement, recipes, shopping lists, grocery lists, especially for travel plans. If you're planning to go to a new city which you have never been to, you can ask ChatGPT to provide you the 10 best places to visit, and then also ask it to provide you some suggestions on what route you should take and completely plan your itinerary for the travel. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you found this journey into the world of ChatGPT as fascinating as I did. If you did, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends and family and let them in on the future of AI as well. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and join our community. But most importantly, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me how creatively you are using ChatGPT. Are you drafting emails, writing code, or maybe you're using it in a way we haven't even thought of yet? Also, please let me know what topics you want me to cover in future videos. Your feedback is what drives this channel. Thank you for watching, and remember, the future of AI is in your hands. Let's explore it together. Until next time.